What about the other jumps, the regular fire jumps? Do you have any that stand out in your memory?
One did. We were down in the John Day area in Oregon, and it was just a small fire. And anyway, the pilot was flying to drop us, and once he realized he was flying into a ridge. So he had to gun the engines to get up there, and when he did that, we got our tap on the back to go out, and two of us went out. And when my chute opened, I saw just stars everywhere. And the other guy, I forgot his name, but his chute opened and it bloodied his nose, and could see him coming down in the white suits. It was just blood over there. And anyway, so when I got down, I put out one, at that time we were using streamers to signal the plane, and so I put down one L, which meant one of us was okay. And I went over there, and he was about 2 feet from the ground, and I popped his risers and got him down on the ground, and he came to then, and then he seemed to be okay, everything, so we put out the higher L, and we got busy on the fire then.
So what do you think happened there? Just the additional speed? Is that what it was? Or?
Yeah, the speed and the from the
opening shot?
Yeah, the opening shot of the airplane, of our chute, and we got in the prop blast from the engine too. You know, and he got fired, I understand, when he landed.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you don't make mistakes like that very often.
Yeah.
You get away with it.
Yeah. Unless you're real lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, we felt we were lucky at that one.
Yeah. What about fires? Any bad fire experiences? Or memorable ones?
Yeah, one I remembered there by the Lake Chelan. You know, Lake Chelan was always a hard place to jump because it was so many cliffs was up and down to the lake. And anyway, we got this one fire there, and it was a big log. It must have been a pine tree, and it was something like 12 feet long, and it was about 3 or 4 feet in diameter. It was just burning like mad because all the pitch in it, and you couldn't get even close to it. And so one of the older jumpers, he was a real small guy, and anyway, he showed us what to do. You get a shovel of dirt and you run up and throw it on there, and then run out of that heat. And so about 2 hours we started getting that cooled down a little bit, and so we could get up and start working on the log finally. And I remember how simple it was, but when I first saw it, I thought we couldn't do a thing to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And since we didn't have any water, back then, you know, we didn't have radios, and lots of times we were lucky to have a power saw.
Yeah.
And it wasn't unusual for them to drop a 2-man saw to us to do the work.
Well, did you ever tree up over there?
Yeah. I remember. The one I remember is it was over on the John Day too. And I was missing trees, and all at once I hit a snag, and it seemed like anytime I moved, the snag moved a lot. So I was real careful coming down out of it, and then of course then you had to. We didn't have a power saw or anything, so I had to go back up and chop the thing down. And it was about 3 feet in diameter, so it took a while to chop that thing so it would fall and I could get the chute then.
Yeah. How high were you off the ground in that snag? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I used up most of my 120-foot letdown rope.
So they issued you 120-foot letdown ropes and went through it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Ines, we went over on the Pacific Coast side, and then we had 250 foot.
Did you go to the Pacific Coast side?
Yeah.
Where'd you go there?
Well, I never jumped on there, but I went down. I jumped out of Cave Johnson, based in Southern Oregon. You know that they've turned into a museum, I guess now. And I remember I jumped into the California in the state, but it was still in the Siskiyou Mountains. And that was an interesting jump. They dropped two of us down on this fire, and I was the first one out, and I hit downdraft going down, and the guy hit the updraft on the other side. And he was going up and I was going down, and they said I was going down about twice as fast as I should have. And it was in the Ponderosa type force. I didn't want to end up in a tall Ponderosa or a snag, so I chose some rocks. And when I went down there, I sprained my ankle, and my hard hat had holes pulled through it from the rocks. So I must have hit pretty hard.
Yeah, that's hard to do. Yeah, that's hard to do. Did you ever get hurt doing this?
Well, I sprained my ankle then, and then it took a couple weeks for it to heal up enough to get back on the jump list.
Yeah, yeah. Did you go on any details? You went to the one to Cave Junction, and any other booster crews or details, other places?
Oh, no, that was, and at LaGrange, Oregon, there was we had a satellite jump base there. And the only thing it was just a little shack that you lived in, and we ate our meals where off the jump base, and the jump base just had borate bombers there, and sometimes we helped them load up the borate bombers.
Yeah. Well, did you? So when you finished jumping, that would be 61 or 62?
62.
So then you went in the service.
Yeah.
You went in the Army.
Right.
And so what branch? I mean, what did you do in the service?
Well, I went. My idea was. Do you mind the cat?
Oh no, I like the cat.
Yeah, okay, well, that's Tux.
Dad, there's two stories that you told me about. How about the mishap with your training one? The one
yeah. I had mishap during training. And the third jump, we came out of the airplane, and one of us was turning clockwise and the other one was turning counterclockwise. And so we turned above, and I was a high one, and I tried to walk over to that guy's chute when I went there. And of course, about that time, his chute robbed all the air out of my chute and went right through the shroud lines.
Oh boy.
And he was hanging on to my chute trying to keep me there, and we were coming down about 200 feet above the ground. My chute ripped through it, his chute, and it opened about 50 feet above the ground. And I just came down into an old log cabin then, you know, and well, they had roses growing there. And I remember roses went right through the jumpsuit.
But you came out of that okay?
Yeah.
So what happened to the other guy?
That guy came down just fine, but both our chutes were condemned then because they were torn. They tore each other up. They tore a whole bunch of holes in mine, little small holes, you know.
Yeah.
And his, they tore up about 5 or 6 rod lines out of it.
Well, you were lucky.
Yeah, and of course, I was surprised nobody harassed me about jumping the next day, and I went ahead and did my jump. It was a weekly, you had 5 jumps and you had to jump each day, and so that was Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and on Thursday and Friday, no problem.
Well, that was as bad as it could get.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you have anything else happen? Any other mishaps?
The one time they forgot about you guys on that one jump. You and somebody else jumped on some peat moss, right? a fire in
Oh, that was, when I was working in, out of Combine Ranger Station.
Now, what forest would that be?
That was in San Juan, in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
And this was up towards Red Mountain. And I had peat moss there, and it had a lightning strike and went around down to the ground, and it started burning in the peat moss. And we were lucky there was Will Creek there, so we got a little pumper and we could pump some pretty good water on it. And the first night, you know, we took off our boots and put them up in the trees and everything so nobody could chew on them. And in the morning they were frozen solid. So we had to build a fire to warm up our boots before we could put them on.
Now, this is when you were working before you were a jumper, right?
Yeah, this was when I was a ground pounder.
Yeah. Huh.
So.
Well, so